starts going crazy. We were all New York City Firemen on 9/11. Got a couple of medals. Trying to tell you something.
7.5. It's a lot of fun to come out here.
And how nice the people are.
Hey, does that camera make my face look smaller?
My name is Bruce. I'm from New York State, and I love to hunt in Texas with Quincy.
My name's Tom. I'm from New York, and I hate Bruce.
My name's Joe. I'm from New York, live in North Carolina now, and I hate both these guys. But I love Quincy. And I love Texas.
2001, 9/11 happened. Quincy and his father donated 6 hunting trips to firemen. I was doing I was finishing a basement for a guy, and it was a construction guy coming, and Quincy only one fireman, so I was the last minute fireman to get in, and here I am 22 years later.
Well, he's leaving it out. We were all New York City Firemen on 9/11.
What am I leaving out? Go
You
ahead,
left
sorry.
that part out, you.
Okay.
Through the lines.
Well, not necessarily. He could have just been a volley from...
And I'm here because I came out with one of Bruce's closest friends in the world. It's been heaven ever since.
And I came out here because they needed a cook. And that's how I ended up being the cook here. And then I just ended up hanging out with this guy all the time. But they've been coming ever since, and I got invited in 14. Yeah, 2014 came out. He was coming out there, and Joe was probably a couple of years before, and that's came out and he was invited out and met Quince.
I think my first year out was 2004 or 5. I can't remember.
But yeah, we've been out here, but it's just like after meeting up with this crew, we get together once a year, and it's like the old hat, and it's just one of the funniest things. Like even like today, we went and got haircuts. We walk in just breaking each other's chops, and people were like, "Oh, you guys hate each other?" I'm like, no. It's like, this is how we talk to each other. Like,
And how we got here right now doing this on the porch is because when Tommy was hunting, he'd always wound something, and we'd have to get your dog.
That's true. I just came in with...
That is true.
Yep. And then you were showing him how to eat hackberry. What are they called?
Yeah, what the hell were those things,
berries?
man? Hackberries. So we're in the woods for 2 hours. He shows us how to eat these hackberries. We find the berries, and we're still looking for the dog. We never even looked for the dog. We just kept eating hackberries. So I don't give a paying me for the money, so. But we found all the hackberries. And they
My hunting experience before I came?
Before.
Okay, I was a Catskill hunter.
What does that mean?
Catskill, New York is like, I don't know, probably 2.5, 3 hours from New York City. And you have a guy hunting by that truck. You have a guy hunting by that camera. You have a guy hunting by that tree. Everybody's wearing one-piece fluorescent orange suits on walkie-talkies. It's crazy. The mount, you know,
It's mountain.
it's mountain, so you had to be. I was a kid, so it was great.
And you would get the Brooklyn guineas come up that the farmers would have to actually spray paint cow on their cattle, so you shoot it.
What's a Brooklyn Guinea?
It's an Italian.
Oh, a Guinea's an Italian.
Downstater.
Downstater.
I don't know if you should say that. Oh, no.
What am I gonna get a phone call? I married one.
What am I going to get a phone call?
You know,
So that
like,
was my experience.
you know what I sit next to?
I have a probably 50, not 50, let's say 20 or 30 racks, spikes, 4-pointers. You know, deer that are so friggin' tiny.
Looked like they came out of Chernobyl.
Crazy. You had to have 3 guys to get a doe permit. 3 guys that signed up on 1 permit to get 1 doe.
Sometimes it was 4, depending on the year. You know, you would have you'd get a doe permit for, say, like Greene County. At one time, there was 4 people to a doe permit. So how do you know when you're all hunting who's shooting the doe? You know.
But I did grow up in like a hunt. My father taught me how to hunt, and we had his best friends up there. You know, it was probably only 7 days or maybe 10 days a year that we would go hunt. We had our own house up there in the Catskills in Claryville. It was, you know, the best days of my life. It was fun, you know. It's hunting camp like we have here, except for him. But
What did you first notice when you came to Texas that struck you as being drastically different?
the landscape.
And how nice the
First
people
thing.
are. For me.
But and there's so many more deer out here. Obviously, you know,
Really?
it's crazy. Oh yeah, everything's different. It's windier. It gets dark as out here. You can scream off this friggin' porch. Nobody's ever gonna hear you. In New York City, if you scream, the cops will be there in half an hour. You know.
And that's why he's a pillow biter.
And everything in Texas, everything in Texas will stick you.
Sticky?
Stick you.
Everything's got
Oh yeah, whatever you walk around in Texas is going home with you.
Yeah.
From
Because even
Sandspurs to locust.
even my wife,
Locust.
I got into bed when I first come
Pines.
home.
Oh, yeah.
I got into bed when I first come home a couple of years ago, and my wife said, "What that?" And it was one of the it was stuck to my sock. It was great because you got to bring that home every year. I was like, man, I don't know.
We have trees and paved roads everywhere I
Trees
live.
and paved roads.
Yep.
Guinea grass.
And green. This landscape's totally different. All right, so my first experience, I don't know, I think it was 2002 or was it 2001? I'm not really sure. Was it right after the Trade Center?
No, it probably wasn't right after the Trade Center.
I don't know.
Was it
I
really?
don't think so either, though. But
That
I'm
was,
not
that
sure.
was September of 01.
So I
And you offered
came.
the trip up right away?
So I came with five of the firemen. Quincy pulled in. We met him at the store, general store. We came in, unbelievably how nice the place was. The next day, Quincy was up. I'll be here to pick you guys up. I was the only guy ready when he came here. He put me about 400, 500 yards right out in that field right there in hay bales. And then for the rest of an hour and a half, I would see him come pick guys up and drop them off. And the guy, Brent, that I was doing his basement, told me it was going to be 75 degrees. So I didn't bring any cold weather clothes. I had every piece of clothing I had laid on the ground, freezing. I didn't even care if I saw a deer, because I was freezing. Then, just as day breaks, and I see Quincy pull out for the last, there was 5 of us. I see him come in 5 times, pull out 5 times, you know. So right at daybreak, I see this guy with white hat on coming across the field. I go, what the does he want? I've been out here for 2 hours freezing my off. And I have Bushnell binoculars and a Tasco scope on top of a 30-06. And I go, oh God, it's a fucking deer. And I don't even know where that shot went. So that was my first experience trying to shoot a deer in Texas. Yeah.
Did you get him?
No, I have no idea where that shot went.
Probably hit my bullet.
Might have hit the house. I came from the Catskills. Guys were wearing orange. So that was my first day in Texas. And then later on in the week, guys were starting to get deer. Mr. Weatherly picked me up, and he brought me to the honey hole, which was right across the street, basically, on hay bales. Same thing, I'm still freezing off. Mr. Weatherly has his cowboy boots on, and I know he's cold, and he's friggin' old as all hell, but he's still stronger than anybody at this table, right? He would squeeze your hand, it would hurt, and I'm trying to be a man, shivering. He's sitting there. I go sit in the truck if you want. So he sat in his truck. There's 10 point he came out. My first day here I shot. Came out, and I shot 13 times. I think I hit him twice. but I got him. So that was my first year in Texas. But I've matured a lot since then.
My first time when I came out was invited by my brother Joe, and said, "Come on out." I said, "Well, I'm not hunting," so I just came out, hanging out, and I ended up being like the
Hazel.
I was the cook. I cooked everybody's meal. They did all the stuff, when I wasn't drinking. But
Day drinker.
So the first year I didn't hunt. I was just here just to take it all in. I loved it. Loved being here, and it was the best. The second year I come out and I hunt, and I shoot this monster little deer. Well, it looked big in my eyes, but it just, from here it went to here, and I called my brother, and I think I called Bruce, and they come over and goes, "Oh my." So I knew it wasn't good. I shot a New York buck, basically.
A big New York buck, though.
Big New York buck.
A big New York buck.
But then,
It's the smallest bucks in Texas are still big bucks in New York.
well, let's put it this way. When you do the pose, my face was bigger than the rack.
I would say bigger than, like we talked about hunting in the Catskills, bigger than that part of New York. New York, they shoot some giant deer in New York
Slammers
State.
out there. Oh, yeah.
But like in Western New York, I mean, they shoot
Western,
big.
yeah, those buffalo and the Finger Lakes. Oh, they're giant.
And then even like on Long Island right now, you talk about suburban New York City, bow hunting counties, they shoot giants.
How come there's teeny weeny little deer in the Catskills, but great big ones elsewhere?
Because they get shot. Most bucks are killed year and a half years old.
Because it's only 2 hours from New York City.
Yeah.
And it's,
And you're not saying what the factor is. Can't say it on TV.
It's because most bucks that are getting killed very few make it to 2.5.
They changed it though. You got to be a 3x now.
They put antler restrictions in certain counties to, which was a good thing.
Which is good.
We lived in a suburb of New York City, and
It was only bow.
Who's the interrupter?
Go ahead.
Bow hunting only county. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at one time it was you had to have to hunt. It was like put number one county for Pope and Young bucks in the state. But only because they lived in backyards, and if you didn't have private property, you couldn't hunt. So.
I here's the whole story. So that year, Joe's buddy and our daughters come. And so we're hunting. My daughter's still in high school. She's doing her homework on the ground. And before that year, all we had was nothing. One year, I tied bushes to my back. Sagebrush to my back. But it was one of my best hunts ever. I had quail crawling on my head. I laid in the ground with my bipod on my gun. It was unbelievable. I had deer 2 feet from me walking away, walking. It was crazy. A couple years later, we get a blind up there, and I'm hunting with my daughter, and every day I would see this buck come down to the windmill. There was a water, the windmill had the water there, and drink water. But there was also another bigger buck that was there. So I had my daughter, I'm telling you the whole story. This is besides the windmill bucks. So I had my daughter, I woke her up from her little nap. I said, listen, there's a giant buck, just come with me. We went down out of the stand, went over a knoll. I'm looking, nothing there. Came back down, went over another knoll, nothing there. The third knoll, there he is, laying with 3 doe. And my daughter was a great shot, because she belonged to a 22 league. And her name is Paige Tuccinati now.
Spell it.
I don't know if I can. Don't embarrass me.
I'm sorry.
So
I can't help myself.
So I go, see the antlers, honey, Paige. See the antlers? Come down. You see his head? You see his head moving? Yeah. I go, come down 6 inches and pull the trigger. And she wouldn't do it. She's like, I can't see his chest. I can't see his chest. And she wouldn't pull the trigger. So that was great. So then the girls go home, and I go back up there, and I see it's called the windmill buck because he lived by the windmill. But this is this buck that was really high. So I see him, and I think it's getting close to dark. So I go, oh, he's way out there. He's not going to make it in. So I leave all my in the blind. I go running along this knoll. I'm under the knoll, and I come up, and there he is, 437 yards, because I do practice with my gun, unlike other people that never shoot the gun. The first time they shoot the guns when Quincy makes them slide it in. The second time they shoot it is at a deer. I shoot all year long to make sure I don't wound an animal. I come up, there he is. He's with another buck and 3 doe. So I know it's 30 inches. I got to hold my thing up that high.
You gotta take a piss.
I pull the trigger. He lays down. All the rest of the deer run at me. Like, what is he doing? Is he trying to hide on me? So I see there's a gas pipe right there, gas pipe warning sign. So that's how I'm finding them in my binoculars. And at this point, this is years later. So now I have Steiner's, because that's what he used, and I had a Swarovski scope, right? And I have a Remington 700, 7 mil. So
Say Swarovski again.
I say it again. I shoot it again.
Tongue gets in the way.
And he doesn't move. He's just laying there, just going like this. I shoot again. He's not doing nothing. And then I'm looking at my binoculars. I go, oh my, 40 yards over the fence. And I know you can't shoot over the fence. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I go running down. I got 1 bullet left. I go running down. I didn't even shoot him at this point. I have to get him on the other side of the fence because now I know even though I'm not a scumbag, you're not supposed to shoot over the fence. But I just know that it's a giant buck in my eyes, and I can't shoot over the fence. I grab his horns, and he just starts going crazy. But I got to get him on the other side of the fence. I bring him over to the other side of the fence. I shoot him again, matter of fact, I think. Because I had 4 shells, right? So I get him on the other side of the fence, but he's still going crazy. And now he's hitting his fence against this, I think it was a metal fence post. A metal fence, I go, he's going to break his horns. He's going to get up and run away. I don't see any, listen, there's no blood coming out of him. There's no holes in him. I'm not even sure if I even hit him. I don't know what he's doing. So I know he's going to get up and run on me. I know it. So I take my sling off my gun, I wrap it around his horns, and I tie him to the fence post. But he's still going nuts. So I take my belt off, and I get his back leg, and I tie it to the barbed wire. And he's still going crazy. So I got my 7mm. I shouldn't even tell you the story. And I take my barrel and I ram it into him. And that's how I found out about the crown. Because I run my barrel into him, and he's still going nuts, and my gun's banging against the fence. So I got to go back and get more bullets. And this is far. I don't know how far is it. 600 yards probably. I got to run back to the blind, either come back with my knife or more bullets, and I'm running back like a madman. I caught Chris. I got him down. I'm tied him to the fence. I come back and he's dead. Oh, thank God. So, and it's a giant. When I sit in my house, I have a recliner, and he's right there. And what an experience!
I thought it was my picture.
So that's the windmill buck. So I know what the most important part of a barrel is. It's the crown. I had a gunsmith look with a magnifying glass, go down my barrel, goes, look, the crown's got a chip in it. What is that from? I don't know. And that's what that's what I know about the crown. All right, so we're in the back of the turret. Me and Quincy. It was in the afternoon, and I'm going to tell the whole story.
Do it.
Right now I have bad knees, so I can't crawl anymore. But at the time, Quincy had a new knee. I didn't realize he couldn't crawl. So what Quincy does, he rolls like a tumbleweed. And I'm going, what the is he doing? He rolls down the hill like a tumbleweed, and I'm crawling like an army guy with my gun. So, but we carried this cow decoy. It only goes one direction, so we got to walk backwards. It's got two little eye things in it. We're like two fat old men walking through this field backwards, and then when we sat down, we laid down. It's probably like 3 o'clock. All I hear. Like what? This is my guided hunt. What? What?
What a guide.
And I shot a monster 8-pointer.
You have to pay extra for that.
Monster 8-pointer.
That was his grunt call, right? So who's killed the biggest deer?
Right now?
Who's got
Bruce,
Can I get up?
the- Get him.
they're right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This year.
absolutely.
Blaine scored it. So for 18 years, Stevie, whose head is as big as him,
Why do you bring my head into it?
because we used to call him nickels.
So what am I? Quarters?
What would you rather have, $1 million cash or his head full of nickels? So right now, this is the biggest buck that we've killed in Texas.
That's super nice. How old was it?
7.5.
It's funny how that happens.
Oh, you want to hear the story?
Yes.
We're mule deer hunting. Chrissy knows it.
You obviously have a good guide. He knows what a mule deer looks like.
That's a hell of a mule deer.
Some mule deer.
Just had a total knee replacement last month on my left knee. Pulled my meniscus
On the right.
on my right one.
Nice pronunciation.
Quincy knows it. He's got me going up and down these hills. I can go up, or I just can't go down. Hurts like. He's got his hood on. He doesn't get going like a bad. Faster than I've ever seen you walk. We're trying to get around this wheat field to get these mule deer. So we're doing a wind thing, going around in the wheat fields from here to friggin' Catskills. Right? It's a giant wheat field. So there's a blind that we knew that was there. We just went, let's go sit in the blind. Sat in the blind, saw 2 4-pointers come across down below. And that's a pretty good view because you can see that hill. Looks like how long? 2 miles away, maybe?
It's up on a bluff. Overlooking a river.
All trees down the bottom. It's really a nice place. Then Quincy's, oh, here comes a doe running across, I don't know, a mile away. He goes, all right, get your gun ready, Bruce. When this buck jumps the fence, shoot him. I go, what is he? Because I don't know, just shoot him.
And there he is.
And here he is.
Deep in the canyon.
So what does the deer
Not a
score?
good place to.
163 gross. I
Yeah.
think 153.
163.
Nets are for fishing. Oh, you said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good buck. And it was an old buck, 7.5 years old.
Yes, that's what.
Yeah, so I'm learning. From being out there the first time I came, you know, I'm learning. Every year I come here, I learn.
We all were New York City Firemen, and Tommy and I worked in the Bronx, and
Bruce was a
worked
Harlem
in-
boy.
he worked in Harlem.
Worked with our cousin David. Bruce got a job in 81?
81.
81. He got a job in 1981, and he's a Buffalo, as we call him. And he's a fireman. He's a legend.
I'm that whole legend.
Well, yeah, there was fires. There was a lot of, New York was just crazy. And he's one of those fellas. He's got a couple medals, so that'll tell you something.
That doesn't make a difference. Just lucky. It's like
And
shooting a
you
big
had-
deer.
That's right.
That's
Got to
right.
be in the right place, right time.
Right time.
Right
doubt.
place,
You
right
got to,
time.
just try to be there.
And,
You can't
uh,
be, you can't
Hey,
be sitting
how
on the,
many-
ca-
how
you
many-
can't be sitting on the couch at 9 o'clock. I didn't point at you. I pointed in there.
How many guys went left and got nothing? You went right. Which way did you always go?
Right.
Yeah.
Always go right.
You always went
I
right.
got lost a lot.
What does that mean? You always went right.
When you force the door to the apartment, somebody goes left.
And you can only see that much.
Yeah, at the bottom.
You,
floor.
you have to decide which way you want to go.
And you go
You
right.
hug the wall.
And then you find a somebody.
You may find someone if you went right, and the other person, someone else.
I was only looking for a window. I didn't about nobody.
He needed air.
I was looking for a window. That's all I looked for. Find a window, then you can go to the next room. Find a window, go to the next room.
Because that gave you a way out in case you needed it,
And what was your first medal, to be honest?
A collapse. Dug a guy out of a collapse.
Where was that?
I think 113th Street. I don't know. Are we going to talk about that now?
No, I just wanted. I never asked you, actually, to be honest.
It was just hard work. But everybody knows I'm a f***er. Not only am I an alcoholic,
Was he alive?
I'm a workaholic. Yeah. There was 3 of them. We got them out, and the whole time Crothers was like, "Get off! Let rescue come in! Let rescue come in!" I just dug for an hour. Rescue ain't coming in. He ain't taking my position. I had the guy, so I was digging out the whole time.
I always wondered. I said, did you find him? Was he under a pancake or something like that?
It wasn't a pancake. It was they needed a girder on the top floor, a column, so they took it out of the basement. So the whole building collapsed. So it wasn't really a pancake. It was,
Right. Okay.
TP thing.
TP. Right.
Yeah. It's but listen, the fire department's a brotherhood. There's guys that work for New York City Fire Department, and then there's firemen. Firemen always get to have a good time together. So.
Well, it's funny. We were up at the gun store up here in Wheeler, and the fella had fire department stuff, and I looked at him and said, "You fireman?" He goes, "Yep." I was like, "That's cool, man." I was so happy. I was just like, "Oh, that's nice." He goes, "You fireman?" I said, "I was." He goes, "Where'd you work?" And I said, "New York City." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." Didn't say nothing. He looks at me. He goes, "You fireman 9/11?" I says, "I was." "Were you there?" "I was." He goes, "What'd you see?" "Everything." He stopped asking questions. I was like, "Nah, it's all good, man." That's all I said. It's all good, man. I come out to Texas, and I love Texas so much. I really love Texas. Is to see this fella and see that guy right there. Yeah. That's it. I'll just pay to come out to see him.
He didn't even buy a license this year.
No, I wasn't hunting. Well, my wife said I couldn't hang any more deer in the house.
But it's a lot of fun to come out here.
Oh,
I've been here 22
nothing
years
better
now.
than coming here.
We have nothing but fun.
Like I said,
And hunting's
I came out here.
unbelievable.
I'm not hunting. I came out here to be here. I love this land. I love my friend Quince. I love Joe. I love this. Actually, I don't.
Hey, the good thing about this, though, we got to meet you. We got to meet
you. We
got
got
to
to
meet
meet Blaine,
you know.
and stuff like that. But that's all this is about.
Yeah.
I met Quincy in 2001. He seemed like a hard-nosed guy that wouldn't even talk to you. Doesn't say much. That's why I'm talking for him. But once you know him, he's most sincere, good-hearted person you can meet, really. Yeah. And I love him like a brother.
Me too.
Yep. I got a letter from some ladies in New York, friends of firefighters. It's a wonder I didn't throw it in the trash. But for some reason I opened it and I read it and I thought,
You probably thought there was a check in it.
And what did it say?
Yeah, I was hoping, one can hope. It was just they were looking to send firefighters on trips, not necessarily hunting. When I called the lady, she said they were sending people fly fishing, you name it, bird watching, whatever, just to get out of there and relax a little bit. And they were wanting
the stress around.
Yeah, exactly. And they wanted to send some of them hunting. And I said, sure. So, not a big deal,
Yeah.
And then they show up. Culture shock on their part. Well, me too. Because I really had no clue. I mean, I've took guys from all walks of life, but like Bruce said, we started here. He'd go here. We had about 2,000 acres right over the hill behind here at that time, and I took one of the guys. And I took him over the hill over here. We walk. We get up on top of a hill. Daylight comes. I spotted deer. I mean, it was a half mile away, something like that.
Yeah, nice.
And I kept saying, he's coming. You see that deer? And he kept going, no. But I wasn't watching him. I was watching the deer. And when I finally got aggravated that he couldn't spot this deer, I looked over at him, and we're up on a hill, and he's looking like this. Literally looking straight down. And I said, he's right out there. Way over there? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, whose property is that? And I said, well, it's ours, And he couldn't believe that there was that much, room. And then they all showed up with opera glasses. Every one of them.
Opera glasses?
They had the littlest binoculars I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
You'd think they had been on a stick where they could, watch. My dad even threw Bruce's out the window.
Yeah.
That was another story.
Nicest guy in the world. They picked up my bush nose. He goes, what are these, toys? Threw him out the window.
Yeah, he did. True story. Yeah. So from there, it just snowballed. And the next year, Bruce just kept coming back, and I can't get rid of him. And then more guys wanted to come, and friends, and then we had a bunch of Italians for a little while.
Guineas, I hear.
Guineas, yeah, and not the bird.
We still have guineas, though.
Yeah, we still have guineas.
Yeah. We have
But
mountain guineas.
not the original.
We have
guineas.
mountain guineas.
For a little while, we had New York guineas and
New York City guineas.
New York City guineas.
Now
Yeah,
we got upstate mountain guineas.
yeah.
Filthy. Cool.
But it,
Jeez, great guys.
yeah, it's
They are
just
great
grown from there. Oh,
Rule number one.
Don't eat the brown acid.
You're not mic'd anymore.
You're not
sorry.
good.
I better get out of here.
No alcohol before you hunt. And that
no
was
loaded magazines. Bullet.
Jack's.
Yep.
And which,
And if you leave the windows open on the blind, you sit on a bucket the next year. You don't get to use the deer blind.
No driving deer.
Yeah, no driving
Don't
deer.
walk around, no driving deer.
If you get stuck, don't call me. If I tell
No.
you don't go out
Right.
and you get stuck, don't call me. You're on your own.
Last year, I almost slipped on the side of the road because
Yeah.
it rained, and we barely got out of the river. So I know I'm not going to call him. I can sleep in the truck.
We were here last year, and Quincy's a man of few words, as you know.
Word.
He calls one night, we were all sitting here, and we were finished hunting, so therefore we were partaking pretty heavily. And it's like 11:30 at night, and that storm coming through. And he calls me, or he texts me, he says, hey, might get a little hairy up there. Be careful and keep an eye out. And I was like, I told those guys, I was like, hey, Quincy don't say He just texted me about these storms coming. So everyone put their shoes on in case we gotta run to that shelter out there because I don't want sand spurs in my feet and so we open. So one of the guys was drunk, really drunk, and he looks and he says, you reckon I should bring the flags in?
That was the
Who was that? Jay. He says, you reckon I should bring the flags in? We're like, bring them in.
Flags.
I want to hear what Quincy thinks about us coming.
Yeah, he probably hates us.
Oh, I hate their guys.
Besides Tommy.
Man, I mean, God. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I love them. If we're not talking about Tommy. No, it's grown over the years, and like I said, it's like one big family now. I don't even advertise anymore. We don't take new guys unless everybody agrees that a new guy can come. And it's the greatest thing in the world. I mean,
Yeah, so it's
we hunt in Illinois together now. I mean, we're just. It's I probably shouldn't charge them, but I am. I mean, you know.
My wife says it. My wife loves it when I leave. She says, you enjoy that time. I said, I do. I said, even though I don't kill nothing. She says, and I'm heading back Friday. And she's like, she can hear it on my voice. She's like, oh, you're having a great time. I said, yeah. What are you doing? Nothing.
In all
A
seriousness,
damn
though,
thing. I see him. I laugh. Make fun of him.
in all seriousness, though, truly, like they always talk about the great state of Texas, right, Jeff? This place is great, right, Bruce?
Yeah.
And the people are great, unbelievable.
Yeah. Love Texas.
The only downside is I wish it was closer. Than 24-hour drive, you know. So.
No, it is.
because he's cheap. Because he won't fly.
He said 24 hours.
It's 3 hours on a
He
plane.
meant to say 24
3 hours on
minutes.
a
He meant to
plane.
say
Yeah, but it
24
costs more to
minutes.
drive. It costs more to drive than it does to fly.
We're done, man. You're fantastic. Oh, hold on a minute. Can we finish this podcast with a picture of Joe, dummy, sitting here? You got it. Tommy, take a picture. Take a picture. Take a picture.